which is the reason I wrote my book Laughing Gas, which was that Britain would face a choice of whether we choose to stay in Europe or cut our anchors at this time. And, you know, you might think that David Cameron is pro-Europe, but I don't believe that's the case. I believe he's orchestrated this. He was the one who set up, who brought about the European referendum in the first place. And then you've got Tony Blair, you know, representing sort of like Europe at the moment, while the Chilcot case is going on, which is disputing whether the Iraq war was legitimate. Not that Tony Blair can be prosecuted in this, because he's got immunity from this from the very start. So you've got this person that's representing Europe that we all absolutely loathe. We've got all these characters representing Europe at the moment. You know, Tony Blair was going to be the president of Europe, but was he? You know, in Europe it was an absolute joke. But Rupert Murdoch and all the tabloid papers are making us feel as if we absolutely loathe Europe at the moment, as if we want out. And this is a big part of the whole political play that's happening as a result of what's coming in here. This is much bigger than you're realising. There's a lot of people truly understand that this thing's coming in and are gearing up for it, and breaking us away from Europe is a very dangerous thing right now, because you break away from all forms of human rights if you do this right now. We head into a situation where we really are on our own, and we know that it's to do this because we are in fear of refugees coming into our country, when we know that these refugees are in many cases fleeing the very bombs that we've actually supplied, and a lot of conflict that we've exacerbated. We know the best solution to this is not to close our borders, but to keep our borders open, but to stop supplying weapons and stop creating wars. You know, we can look and say, did Europe do this? Did Europe do all the crimes that Tony Blair did? Did Europe do all the crimes that David Cameron did? What I consider crimes, you know, invading Libya. I think that was wrong. Just like I thought Tony Blair invading Iraq was wrong. Did Europe do those things? Was that Europe to blame? You know, you've got to ask yourself: did Europe do it? Are you being fooled here? Because guys, I'm not going to be at Glastonbury this year. You know, number one, I've been invited to go along and what have you, and get involved in the Gorilla Bar and what have you, which is a big part of what I've done for many years. But I'm not going to be doing the House of Come-Ons because I'm not really welcome to do that. You know, I'm pretty mad at the moment, and soon to be the maddest man in this country. But I cannot contribute to a massive show that's going to be a massive distraction to this EU vote, because I see what they're doing. They're trying to distract you away from it, repulse you away from Europe. And Europe is what you won after the Second World War, after all the lobbying. That's what you finally got, a proportionally run electoral system. And all I can ask you is, if you believe in your heart it is an undemocratic process, can I ask you, hand on your heart, did you vote in that, what you call a non-democratic process? Because if you didn't vote, then I can only tell you that what you call was a non-democratic process was simply a non-democratic process for you. Europe didn't do this, guys. Tony Blair, our horrible government, David Cameron, you know, these are all, you know, you can't blame Europe for this. You're being fooled. You're being fooled.
Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? There's been an explosion at a nuclear plant in France. This explosion at the EDF's Flamanville nuclear plant in northern France. Now, preliminary information we're getting is there is 5 people who have suffered smoke inhalation, and there is some other minor injuries, but no serious injuries and no casualties. There's a little bit of conflicting report there, though. So it's a fluid situation. Now, immediately they've released, authorities are saying that there is no risk of contamination, and the blast took place in the engine room of the Flamanville plant, which is 15 miles west there of across from the Channel Islands. So there's still, this is very, very, very early beginning stages of it. They said it was a ventilator that exploded outside the nuclear zone, and there is no risk of radiation or nuclear contamination. So we'll leave it there. It's a very fluid situation early. I heard those same things at Fukushima during the earthquake. So yeah, when it comes to nuclear, I've never once heard anybody say nuclear explosion, definite radiation contamination, everybody run. No. Okay, so it's too early, but that's the preliminary report. I'll put the link below, and we'll wait and see what comes out of that. There will be no live broadcast today, as it is a travel day. No live broadcast today. I will be doing YouTube videos later today. But tomorrow I will be broadcasting live, all right? So God bless all of you, and keep watching. We got some YouTube videos. I got another YouTube video I'm going to do right now about an article that was written in Breaking Israeli News that has to do with the moving of the Washington Embassy and the rebuilding of the Third Temple. I'm in the article. I was interviewed yesterday. So are 2 other Christians, and I think also a rabbi. It's all tying in together. It's a pretty powerful article. Check it out. I'll do a video on it in just a moment. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're in the last days. Pray for France. Are you serious? Are you serious? Folks, we got issues. We've got a major, mega earthquake just off the coast of El Salvador. A 7.0. Now, it was first reported at 7.2. The U.S. Geological Survey has brought it down to 7.0. It just happened about 48 minutes ago. It rattled El Salvador, the Pacific coast there. But there's no immediate reports yet of damage or injuries, but it's way too early. Way too early in that part of the world. It's just too early. They just can't get the media, they just can't get the reports out quick enough. I'd almost guarantee you we got some problems. Now, the one major concern you got to have here is a tsunami, because this thing was extremely shallow, only 10.3 kilometers. 7.0, rocking, shaking, rattling, and rolling in El Salvador. Matter of fact, reports are the possibility, there is a tsunami alert. I repeat, there is a tsunami alert. Possible waves as high as 6 feet are expected to hit the coast of El Salvador, also expected to hit the coast of Nicaragua. All right. Now, Nicaragua has also put out a tsunami alert. The quake was 92 miles off the coast of El Salvador. And also, don't forget, Nicaragua is already dealing with Hurricane Otto. What? So it has just made landfall in Nicaragua on the over there in the Caribbean coast on that side. So Nicaragua has a hurricane Otto hitting it right now, and then a potential tsunami, a 6-foot high wave coming to the other side of the coast because of an earthquake off the coast of El Salvador. We're going to keep a close eye on all of this because this is really, really, really strange situation. I mean, you talk about rare. This is extremely rare. Matter of fact, I'm just going to do one quick update on the Hurricane Otto right now. And and just see where we stand with this thing as it's making landfall. Yes, they're now expecting life-threatening flash flooding taking place as Hurricane Otto is making landfall in Nicaragua. Possible mudslides, landslides, Nicaragua and Costa Rica. So Hurricane Otto hitting Nicaragua over on the Caribbean side, and an earthquake sending a tsunami toward Nicaragua, on the other side. Are you serious? You talk about the apocalypse. The apocalypse. I mean, that's really about what you've got going on here off the coast of El Salvador and Nicaragua. We'll continue to keep a close eye on all of this, Costa Rica as well. And there's been chaos around the world, scaffolding collapsing in China, killing 67, a car bomb in Iraq, killing 57, a car bomb in Turkey, killing 2 and injuring 33. There's been a mass shooting in Louisville, Kentucky, killing 2, wounding 4. There's outrageous fires, just wildfires burning out of control all over Israel, including the Haifa area where 60,000 people have been evacuated, and there's fires burning now in the city of Jerusalem. These are arsonists. Now it's being determined they have been set by arsonists, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is doing everything he can, and he's asking other countries to come help him. The Russians have arrived. Croatia is helping. Cyprus is helping. We still have heard no word yet from President Obama and the United States. But that's where we're at right now. Pray for Israel. And boy, this is crazy what's going on right now. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to Bible prophecy. You say, well, Pastor, there's nothing in here about this in the Bible. Well, you haven't read, apparently you haven't read the signs of the end times, because in Matthew 24, the Bible says there'll be false Christs and false prophets shall rise, and they shall deceive many. You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass. The end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There'll be famines, pestilence, earthquakes in divers places. Now here's what it also says. These are beginning sorrows. That's Matthew 24. But if you run over to Luke 21, it says there'll be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Distress of nations with perplexity. Well, that's a lot of car bombs and wars. There'll be commotions. There'll be signs in the sun, the moon, stars, and distress of nations with perplexity. The sea and the waves roaring. All right. Men's hearts have failed them for fear, for looking after those things coming upon the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When you begin to see these things come to pass, folks, he says, look up, lift up your head, for your redemption is drawing nigh. Pray for Nicaragua and El Salvador as this earthquake and tsunami alerts, 7.0 earthquake with tsunami alerts, and simultaneously Hurricane Otto, huge, it's a monster coming ashore on the other side of Nicaragua and Costa Rica. Are you serious? Give your life to Jesus Christ. This is the last days, days of chaos.